Hello and welcome to another edition of Vinyl Night. I am the Sultan of Spin, Johnny C. Tonight's episode, ktel, big in the 70s. And speaking of the 70s, thank you very much. While this looks like it's an album, it's actually something that was distributed from the United States Postal Service. Uh, it was for teachers, librarians, etc. And the idea was to get kids interested in different eras. I believe they had some out for the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And the idea was to get the kids to think about voting on a stamp idea for the United States Postal Service for a stamp edition geared towards the 70s. Thank you very much. Inside of that was we're not messing around here. United States Postal Service vote by September 1998. Get your votes in. Thank you very much. On the inside were items related to the 70s. Little discs like this, which I thought was kind of, looks almost like a little 45. I was almost hoping it might have been one of those little plastic records that you used to be able to, that's a whole different thing. The little plastic records, the little cardboard records that you could get with things every once in a while. The only thing that seemed to be musically related in all this whole pile was disco. Well, disco. And of course on the back you have your little definition of disco going on. Other things that were going on at the time, the VCR. Oh my goodness, you could watch movies at home, VCR. And then of course we have the CB radio. Let them truckers roll 10-4. Looks like we got us a convoy. I had a friend that was into CB radios, had a ham radio base in the house, into radios in general, and many nights we would be out driving, riding around, listening to the truckers and seeing who was out there with their ears on. And then, of course, the smiley face. Thank you very much. A few of the other items that were in there. Thanks. Cards. Well, about the same thing. I guess the idea was to poster these up and put them around in the classroom. Basically the same items as the little round discs. Thank you very much. Your little booklet. Take a field trip through the 70s with all sorts of items to engage the children with. Thank you very much. A poster. Let's take a trip through the field trip through the 70s. A little poster. Pin that up for all the kids. And probably my favorite here. Let's get the kids with the flash way back. He's going to go through the 70s. Way back, man. Cool. Thank you very much. So, that's our little trip through the 70s. I did take a gander to see if there was any of them out there available, and I guess you can find them on eBay. When I had taken a look, I found a couple of them on eBay, and I believe Amazon even had a take a field trip through the 70s from the United States Postal Service. So, as tonight was stated, ktel. Ktel records, very popular in the 70s. I believe that was one of their big heydays, and it was a television marketing thing that ktel used to do. Used to put albums on, compilation albums. Super bad. 20 original hits, 20 original stars. Don't be confused with getting anything other. ktel records. Side 1, side 2, Millie Jackson, Staple Singers, Isaac Hayes, Main Ingredient, James Brown, Chairman of the Board, Super Bad from ktel. Thank you very much. And of course, Super Bad is back. Not to be outdone. Super Bad. Super Bad is back. 20 original hits, 20 original stars. ktel. Let's see. Who's on this one? Tyrone Davis, Fred Wesley and the JBs, Mendrell, Curtis Mayfield, James Brown again, Earth, Wind and Fire, OJ's. Super Bad is back. Thank you very much. And of course, ktel was all over the place. ktel was, to me, I believe the 70s was the ktel heyday as seen on TV. These ads were on TV quite frequently. We have Rock 80. Who's on this one? Cars, Brass and Pocket, Call Me, My Sharona, hits of the day, all here on one dandy little record. Thank you very much. ktel. Dancer. The danceable side of today's rock. Let's get into the danceable side of today's rock. The dreaded Sticker. We had all sorts of things. Kool and the Gang, Celebration, Funky Town, Lips. What else do we have going on here? The Pointer Sisters, He's So Shy. All sorts of danceable soul, the danceable side of today's rock, ktel. Thank you very much. And of course, we had other things. Believe in music. Don't be screwing around. Believe in music. 22 original hits. The other thing with some of these albums is, I believe ideally, 20 minutes on an album side is what well, I wouldn't say they, is the suggestion for the phonics, for the sound to be. I'm going to start getting way over my head here now because I didn't even think about this until I started talking about it just now. Let's just put it to the point that roughly 20 minutes on an album side is supposed to be good for the waveform. Some of these records, they kind of there's 11 songs on a side, although usually the hits back in the day 2 to 3 minutes, but there might have been a little fidelity that kind of got scrunched up with putting so many songs on one side of a record. But hey, you could get 22 original hits, original stars. Believe in music. What was on here? Lighthouse, Looking Glass, Brandy, Slade, Mama We're All Crazy, Five-Man Electrical Band, Rick Springfield. There was kind of a halfway decent little selection of songs on here, and maybe by a couple of artists that might not have necessarily been on the radio, or if they were, these might be alternate sides to what was going on there. Thank you very much. And of course, ktel presents Jukebox Jive. Kind of nifty that they put out a record that is looks like an old jukebox here like this. That's kind of swank. Most of these are a little bit older songs on the album. Ronnie Hawkins, Paul Anka, Bill Haley and the Comets. So we're looking at probably early 60s, maybe even later 50s. But it is the ktel Jukebox Jive. Thank you very much. And while ktel, to me, primarily excuse me, one more before we get into the segue. Hitline 2 LP set from ktel, 24 of the year's best original hits and stars. So once again, we have a pretty good little selection of what's going on here. Michael Jackson, Sister Sledge, Nigel Olsson, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Kool and the Gang again, Jon Stewart. So it's the Hitline 2-record set. Thank you very much. What I was alluding to just before this record was that ktel wasn't the only one that was out on the TV market selling things. Although ktel did sell other items besides records, I always think of ktel as mostly being music. However, there was another company that was out there. Thank you very much. Very similar to ktel, and that was Ronco. To me, though, Ronco always had all the other items like the Pocket Fisherman. Ron Popeil doing his Ronco items. Pocket Fisherman, what was it, the Vegematic or whatever it was, the Slice-O-Matic. A lot of parody going on there for the late night TV people. I believe Dan Aykroyd used to do a skit on Saturday Night Live that was poking fun at the Ronco. But Ronco did put out records, and I just don't remember the Ronco records as much, but as seen on TV, Ronco. So this was Ronco in concert. The Hughes Corporation, Jim Stafford, Golden Earring, Eric Burden, O.C. Smith, Redbone, Staple Singers again, Paper Lace, Leonard Skinnard. So you could get it all here, and you could see it on TV. And these ads were going constantly in the 70s. These ads were going. Thanks. Another Ronco. Once again, you got to make sure that it's seen on TV. Ronco presents Get It On, Smoking in the Boys' Room, Spiders and Snakes, B.B. King, To Know You Is to Love You, The Morning After, okay, cover of the Rolling Stone, Drift Away, Dobie Gray, Me and Mrs. Jones, Me and Mrs. No, okay, I won't do that. I could do that better maybe if I practiced it a little bit. Okay, Ronco presents Get It On. Thank you very much. And of course, another gang that ended up being on TV, another record company that sprung up to do TV advertising. And this company I don't remember at all. But from doing a little bit of digging on the old World Wide Web, this company was called Adam 8. And I believe this was kind of an offshoot from the gentleman's name. Sometimes why do I always get this stuff messed up? Morris Levy, founder of Roulette Records, decided to go on TV, and he called his company Adam 8. This one's called Feelings. All sorts of, because the song Feelings on here, Morris Albert, Natural High, Bloodstone, Midnight Train to Georgia, Woo Woo, Stay a While, by The Bells, Archie Bell. Oh, no, come on, The Bells, come on, Johnny. The Air That I Breathe, The Hollies. So kind of a mellower record, but this was in Adam 8 and I just don't remember that. Thank you very much. But I did find another, thanks. I did find another Adam 8 album somewhere in my travels. This is the Soul Train Hall of Fame. And of course, as seen on TV, $3.98. Excuse me. Can't go wrong there, as seen on TV. Soul Train. I used to love watching Soul Train, Don Cornelius. Being a bass player, I think, as part of the rhythm section of a band, disco, funk, all the disco, I have no trouble with disco music. I enjoy it because it's bass and drums. It's that rhythm. So, that's from the Adam 8. Thanks. Another Adam 8. Heavy hits. And of course, once again, as seen on TV, this must have been a little bit later, huh? Jeepers Wally, it went up to $4.98, unless licensing the songs from the record companies went up a little bit. Who knows? But this is Heavy Hits. Boy. Oh, the Who is on here. Oh, won't get fooled again. Tell Her She's Lovely, El Chicano. I used to enjoy that song, Tell Her She's Lovely. Brenda Lee. How did Brenda Lee get on here? Anyway, you would get a hodgepodge of people on these albums, and that's what made them kind of interesting. Actually, a couple of these records, I'm sure some of the songs that are on these records, I don't have them on the full-length album by the artist. Thank you very much. And then I do have one more that was as advertised on TV and radio. This one is a double record set. It's called You Should Have Been There. This one is from Special Markets. It's a division of Capitol Records. Although I don't remember this at all being seen on TV. But in the corner of the album, it tells me that it is. Linda Ronstadt, Beach Boys, Bobby Fuller 4, The Outsiders, Time Won't Let Me, Glenn Yarborough, The Monkees. Once again, a whole different hodgepodge of artists that you could find on these records, and for sale by watching TV. Who said TV rots your brain anyway, when you could be watching TV and ordering? You should have been there. Thank you very much. So, that just goes to show you, to reiterate, watching TV doesn't rot your brain, does it? No, not when you can spend money on your favorite music at a good price and get a record that might not be very good with fidelity, but boy, there's an awful lot of songs on there. Good night.